fighting times, organizing on the front lines of the class struggle. I've been an organizer since I was 14, and I guess I have to admit I'm 72 now. And I started out in the civil rights movement after they had killed 3 civil rights workers, Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodwin. The Klan had dragged them out and killed them. From there, we went on to fight the Vietnam War, where we created an insurrection on campuses all over this country. And there were many of us who decided to continue the struggle to create real change, real transformation of the social order, so that capitalism no longer can exploit people at will, that we had to organize in the working class. It's wonderful to me to see so many young people out today. It's really a revitalization of a union movement that had become moribund and bureaucratic. You people are creating a model for the whole country. You cannot lose. You cannot lose because it'll be too great a setback for the workers at REI, for the workers at Amazon, for the workers at Alphabet Union. All of these new unions that are being powered by the spirit of young people to change this world. Because if we don't change this world, we'll be subject to extinction because of the global crisis of climate. Now, I can really understand what Arthur says, that it's somewhat scary to be fired. Over my 13 years in industry, I was fired many times. I was suspended many times. It was a different period. We used to walk out. We used to wildcat. We used to sit down. We used to slow down on the job. When they fired me in 1973, the plant guards had to physically drag me out of the auto plant to discharge me. And the workers voted to take my grievance to a strike vote to get me rehired. Unfortunately, the president of the union threw the counter down, said we had lost. The police had filled the back of the room. Okay? People stuck with me. And like Arthur said, she was around, she'll be around, and you'll see her face until she walks back in to this Starbucks. The one thing that she said that I can't say I fully agree with is she said they don't know how hard they're making our lives. But they do know exactly how hard. Capitalism will continue to push the working class down. If we win wages here, they'll take them back the next year. If we get Arthur rehired here, they'll fire another Starbucks organizer somewhere else. There's a slogan that began in this part of the country with the IWW, which is an injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. The last thing I'd like to say to you is, we're not just part of the struggle of workers in the United States. My wife, who's over here, is from the Philippines. In the Philippines, you take your life into your hands to become a union organizer. I'm going to be releasing my book, Fighting Times, in the Philippines this January. And as hard as it is to be a trade unionist in the Philippines, the Pineapple Workers Union and the Banana Workers Union is sponsoring the book launch. This is the book, Fighting Times. This shows a picture of us on the front during a wildcat strike. And as you can see, it was a multinational, our caucus was multinational, it was women, it was men, and when we took over the union, when I first ran for steward, I drove 3 people to the polls with me. The next day, I only had 3 votes. One of them didn't even vote for me. And that was demoralizing. But you can't stop. I kept going, and 13 years later, we were elected to lead the union. Renault bought American Motors, and our struggle became international. Kenosha. That's where I was, in Kenosha. In 1969, in Kenosha and Milwaukee, there were 13 wildcats in 1 week. That's what the union movement is about. That's what we need to bring back. I think the Starbucks workers got so much guts. If they see somebody being harassed, if one of the workers is discriminated against, if there's misogyny, they walk out. And it's brilliant. This wine garden rights thing I had never heard of. I got to hand it to Arthur to be a representative without having a steward badge on, without having the power of a contract behind you. You're still willing to do it. And I have nothing to say except you've got to win, you've got to keep fighting, you've got to stick together, and hopefully we will show the owning class that the power belongs to us, not to them. Rehire Arthur!
Rehire Arthur.
And if you get a chance, I just gave Arthur a copy of the book. It's really a good book because it's all written about what life was like over those years of fighting, and people say it reads like a novel. So I hope you pick it up. Howells was very gracious to me yesterday, and I'll do everything I can to keep supporting the struggle of Starbucks Workers United. And I'll be posting tonight about rehiring Arthur.
Yay!
Thank you.